Okay, now
Screen share.
I will start. Started now? Started, I think, right? How many types of impurities do we have? Two types. What we call those? P-type and N-type. Can you see the screen or not?
Now visible.
Now visible. So there are two kinds of impurities, and we call those as P-type and N-type. P stands for previous, and N stands for next. Compared to what? Compared to
Silicon, carbon,
silicon.
Carbon
Compared to silicon germanium, because this silicon type of semiconductors we use normally, silicon chips, I think it is so famous that everybody knows that this computer, etc., these all chips are made from silicon. Everybody knows it. So in silicon, if we insert boron or aluminum type impurity, then it will be called as previous type, P type. And if we insert phosphorus or arsenic type, then we will call it as N type. Now, why do we insert impurities and what is the impact of those impurities? And I give you a reason why we call it as P type and N type. Some will prefer to call P as positive type and some will prefer to call N as negative type, but I will not prefer that. Reason is this, that we these are neutral actually. The boron, what happens? Okay, for example, even if I'm sending a boron ion, let us say I'm sending a boron ion and here boron ion gets embedded into it, and several such boron particles are embedded within the silicon structure, silicon lattice. So if boron are getting embedded into it, does it mean this will remain ionized always permanently? No. Soon this will become neutral. The electrons will go, the extra charge will go to the earth. If this is metal, this will be conducting now, and if I connect it to the ground, then it will be giving that extra charge to the ground, whatever charge it has acquired. So finally, it will be overall neutral structure again. And once it is neutral again, then it is like pure. It has no extra charge, I can say. So it has neither positive charge nor negative charge. So why do we give initially some charge? That we give only so that we can accelerate those boron particles, atoms, and those can enter into the material deep somewhere inside the silicon. For that purpose, we do in the beginning. We accelerate those, but that is only to achieve doping. What is meaning of doping? Doping is addition of impurities. Addition of impurities. But one thing here I would like to say, that impurities does not mean like we can add random impurities, and addition of controlled impurities. For example, we have to add either B type or Si type. And how many impurities do we add? Again, among billion of silicon atoms, I think we will be adding few boron atoms. So it is very less in number, very, very less. Mainly this will remain silicon only. So because out of billions, out of so many, if one boron atom we are adding, that is creating a lot of difference in the properties of silicon. So therefore, our initial silicon which we are obtaining, that should be very much pure. Means when you say 24 karat gold, then 24 karat gold may have lot more impurities as compared to the purity of silicon which we need. So it is really very, very sophisticated process called as zone refining process. Some process we call as zone refining process, in which with this silicon is made such pure to such an extent that even very, very less impurities also not there. Out of billions and billions of atoms, there will be not any other impurity in between. It will be a proper pure structure, silicon crystal. And then we will add controlled impurities. And those controlled impurities which we are adding, like boron type or this phosphorus type impurity, or means previous type or next type impurities, when those we are adding, those will change the properties of silicon. Now silicon, which was normally we can say neither very good conductor nor very poor conductor, after adding impurities, it will become a good conductor only. After adding impurities, it will become a good conductor. So we are able to make it conducting just by adding impurities. Which kind of impurities? Whatever you add P type, then also it is a good conductor. You add N type, then also it is a good conductor. Then it becomes conducting. Why does it happen like that? Let me give you the reason. So I think no need to make new diagram. It will waste a lot of time. Here only I will do something now. In place of this silicon, I will create one. I will add one boron maybe. Let me add one boron here. If I add boron, in boron, how many electrons are already present? In boron, how many electrons are there? 1, 2, 3. But it has nothing here to make a bond. This side it has nothing. There is nothing which can make a bond with the other silicon there. It has just 3 only. If there is one less, then this extra electron of the silicon here, this will be free to move compared to make. Sometimes they will create large number of, they will do large doping. Large doping means more concentration of boron atoms. Sometimes they will make less concentration of boron atoms. It depends what kind of material they want to create. The engineers can design their own material depending upon the needs of the circuit. Anyway, but it is somehow we are able to control the conductivity. That is the advantage by doing that. We are able to control the conductivity of the material. That will be very much helpful for you. You will come to know about it later on. Anyway, so which will be now what happens here? One more thing I should say: when the impurities are added, let us define it. First is p type semiconductor. Before that, when it is pure semiconductor is also called as intrinsic semiconductor. So I think I can define, I can say semiconductors can be of two types: intrinsic, spelling intrinsic, and it can be extrinsic. Extrinsic is nothing new. It is just the one which is doped. Doped means in which impurities are added. And how many such types are there then? In extrinsic, there are two further types. In extrinsic, there are further two types. It is pure semiconductor without any impurities. P type, N type. That is the thing. And which has more conductivity? I told you, doped semiconductors will have more conductivity. Okay. The extrinsic one, the doped one, they have more conductivity. And intrinsic one will have comparatively less conductivity. P type, and N type. P type examples: adding boron, previous type, you know already, previous type. But sometimes they call it positive type also. I will give you a reason why they call it positive type, but actually it is not positive. And but that also helps us in remembering one thing if we call it positive type. See, boron has one less electron, so it appears as if it has extra positive charge. It has obviously no extra positive charge because it is neutral atom, but it has one less electron. As a result, it has, we can say, conductivity is mainly because of vacancies created here. This vacancy is here. This vacancy will be there. I think I said something wrong before. I was saying that electrons will become freely available. Electrons will not become freely available, but here conductivity will be mainly due to holes. These holes are there. This hole will mainly, hole means vacancy of one less electron, one less, we can say, yes, one less electron for the bonding. That electron will be, that less electron present there will be called as vacancy of the electron, that is hole, and that hole will be participating in conduction process. So in P type, the charge carriers are not electrons, but positive charge carriers, or we can say the holes are treated as positive charge carriers. The holes are treated as positive charge carriers. So because these behave as if there is really some positive charge which is moving. Okay, scientists have in fact proved it. There is a derivation for this by which we are able to prove that this really acts like positive charge carrier as if it is a positive charge and which is really moving. And I think common sense also tells us that when the electrons are moving in opposite direction to the holes, then obviously it will appear like positive charge moving only. So this adding
Sir,
p
once
type
again repeat.
boron, adding boron will make the structure p type, and p type means holes will be available for conduction. Which will be available for conduction? Holes will be available for conduction. Conduction by holes mainly, and here conduction mainly by, I should say mainly, but not electrons, will also be mainly by electrons. Adding what we added here, phosphorus. Example, this is just example. We can add other things also, but phosphorus, this is one example only. Conduction mainly by electrons, conduction mainly by holes, Here number of holes is much larger than number of electrons, and in this case number of electrons is much larger than number of holes. And in this case number of electrons is just equal to number of holes at all temperatures. And because these are equal, sometimes we call this as Ni for intrinsic charge carriers. We don't call it negative charge carrier, electron or hole. We just call it intrinsic charge carrier. Intrinsic charge carrier means in the pure semiconductor, whatever charge carriers were there at a given temperature. Ni is a function of temperature. As temperature increases, Ni increases. Ne into Nh will be equal to, obviously Ni, both are equal to Ni, so it will be Ni square. But the wonderful thing is that this remains true for this also. That is the important thing here to be understood, that this formula remains valid even if I keep it here or I keep it here. For both extrinsic also it is valid. For intrinsic it is obvious, because in intrinsic we already know these are equal to Ni, so these have to be Ni into Ni, that is Ni square only. But in this case these are not equal. So what happens exactly? If one thing becomes 1,000 times, then other one will become 1 upon 1,000 times, but the product will remain constant. That is a wonderful, interesting thing here. The product total remains constant. Why it happens? Something like this, you can think that when there will be vacancy of electrons here, let us say this is a vacancy here, right? Because of boron, and there was some other free electron was there somewhere. Here it was there, let us say, that was already existing. Now this electron will have tendency to fill up this hole. And as when the electrons have tendency to fill this hole here, then as a result, the electrons which were present in the pure semiconductor, those electrons, free electrons, will become less, because some of those electrons will get absorbed by these holes. Those will make the hole here, and this will in fact start forming a bond also. That is also possible. Okay, so boron may also start forming 4 bonds. Provided some electron comes from somewhere and fills up this hole of boron, this vacancy of boron. That may happen. As a result, some electrons which were already present, those will be now less. So electrons will decrease in the same proportion, and the holes will increase in the same proportion. This happens. Some proof is there for this, but beyond your scope, so no need to worry. If I get time, then I will try to explain those things, but no need, I think so. And otherwise also they have given very less time this week. This week we have to cover almost so many things. Anyway, phosphorus. Same thing, something like that only happens for this when we put electrons. This phosphorus has 1 extra electron, pentavalent impurity. We call it as pentavalent impurity. And this is which impurity here? This is trivalent, because it has 3 electrons. Trivalent, 3 valence shell electrons. Trivalent impurity. So when trivalent impurity is added, then we get p type. When pentavalent is added, we get n type, and the product remains same because of some derivation which is beyond your syllabus. So, but idea we are getting, I think, that yes, it is one thing is tending to decrease, and other thing is tending to increase. because pentavalent will come with extra electrons and the trivalent will come with extra holes. Understood? Okay. Is it okay? Right. Next, I would like to explain, I think, energy band, maybe. Energy bands. Energy bands. Before energy bands, what you already know, let us think about that. Let us discuss that again. Do you know that Pauli's exclusion principle is something and which states that all the electrons will acquire different energy levels? You know that or not?
Yes, sir.
No two electrons
Can have
no
same
two
set of
electrons
quantum
can have the
Same
same set of quantum numbers. Okay. So if I have n equal to 1 and then n equal to 2. In n equal to 2, I think we have s as well as p. Something like that is there or not? S orbital, p orbital.
Yes.
But s and p orbital, do they have same energy in s and p or different energies? Different energies. Exactly. They have different energies. They don't have same energies. They have different energies. Within s, if I take, there will be 2 electrons. These will have same energies or different energies?
Same energy, sir.
Yes,
Different
these will have
spin,
same energy.
same energy.
These have same different spins but same energy. So means maximum in one orbital there will be 2 of same energy, but otherwise all these will be of different energies. So normally the energy level diagrams which we were making, like 1, 2, 3, those were not correct diagrams actually. Were those correct diagrams? Because they don't have one energy level will be again divided into some smaller levels because of orbitals, different orbitals, right or not? One energy level will get split into some smaller energy levels. Anyway, when we are taking 2 silicon atoms closer to each other, one silicon and another silicon atom, when it is coming closer to each other in a solid, then Pauli's exclusion principle, you know that I think you were thinking like this, that Pauli's exclusion principle is valid only for one atom. And it has nothing to do when there are whether that atom is isolated or not isolated. But actually it is not true. Pauli's exclusion principle is valid for, it will treat, let us say if I have one electron here in one energy level and from another atom I have one electron in the same energy level. Now you may think that there is no harm in taking another in the same energy level, but Pauli's exclusion principle says that 2 electrons cannot have same energy level even if they are in different atoms. That is what Pauli's exclusion principle says. Do you know that or not? You don't know this. What you know only that it is only for discussion on one atom, but it is not discussion about 2 atoms. That is true when we are talking about gases where the atoms are far away from each other. But when we are in solid and when the atoms are very close to each other, then according to Pauli's exclusion principle, when as long as the atoms are able to interact with each other, and when means the forces from one atom to on the other atom will not be negligible when they are so close to each other that they can exert reasonable forces on each other, reasonable electromagnetic forces on each other, then they do something like this. When 2 electrons with same spins and same energy levels come closer to each other, then one electron, these energy levels get split into 2 parts. These will split slightly, will come into slightly higher energy, another will come into slightly lower energy. But their energy levels will never be same again. But the energy level diagram will be much different for the single atom and for the atoms in the solid, because in the atoms in the solid they will be interacting with each other. If there are 3 such atoms, then 3 levels, 4 atoms, 4 levels, 5 atoms, 5 levels. How many atoms will be there in a very tiny amount of space in solids? I think billions of atoms, then billions of such lines. And if I take billions of such lines, then what do I get? I get a band. That is what we call it as, not as, then we don't call it as energy level, but we call it as band. Although it is made up of discrete lines, each has its own energy level, but those are so close to each other that it appears like a continuous distribution of energy levels, and that those continuous distribution of energy levels is called as energy band. Is that okay? Okay.
Yes,
hello. So for gases, our energy level diagram was okay, no problem. But for solids, we have to make not energy level diagram, but we have to make energy band diagram for solids. So that energy band diagram, if we draw, then we notice now that diagram means I will just tell you from the book. You see it in NCERT. Refer NCERT for that. If I have here, I will show you in NCERT, or I can show you here in this. This is 1s band here. 1s band, 2s band, 2p band, and 3s band. Rather than energy levels, there are bands. And total states in 2p band are 6 n states. You know, 6 n states will be there or not? Because each p has how many?
6
Each
electrons.
p has
3.
Each p has 3. Am I right? Wait a second. Each p will have
6 electrons.
6 electrons will be there, I think.
3 are
3.
3 orbitals.
So, right, 3 orbitals and 6 electrons. So, therefore, the total states will come 6n if there are n atoms closer to each other, right? And similarly, occupied states will become 6n. All these are filled up. 3s band. In 3s band, total states will be, means the one, some will be occupied, some will be not occupied. Those which are not occupied, those will also form a band. Only the occupied ones will not form a band. Those which are not occupied, those will also form a band. But out of those, occupied ones are n are occupied and remaining are unoccupied. Okay, that is what is happening. We are not interested in this, not in this, not in this. We are interested in this. We are interested in outermost shell electrons. In those we are interested. Okay. So now, in conductor, what happens? In conductor, this is the conduction band, this is the valence band. These conduction band electrons are free to conduct. They can conduct easily. Wait a second. Conductor, insulator is something is right here. Yes, right only. What about this? This is conduction band, valence band. This is the energy gap. From, we know that energy which the electrons can acquire on their own because of the temperature, that will be of the order of half kT or 3/2 kT. That energy the electrons can acquire because of temperature. So therefore we are comparing the energy gap between these two bands by kT, that how much energy they have because of temperature itself. So because of temperature, the electrons will not have sufficient energy to go to the conduction band in insulators. Therefore, the electrons, very less number of electrons will be able to jump to this. And therefore, very less electrons will be available for conduction. Not many electrons will be available for conduction in insulators. This gap is less for semiconductors. As the gap is less for semiconductors, so definitely some electrons will be able to jump, but still there will be less number. So it will also not be conducting. Pure semiconductor is not conducting. That will also not be conducting. Okay. Now come to conductor. In conductor, what happens? In conductor, the bands are so close to each other, they are almost overlapping. And they are overlapping. So conduction, these electrons will be freely available for conduction here in a conductor. See, here, this is also a conductor. This also can be conductor. This also can be conductor. What is the difference in these two? In conduction band, sometimes it may happen that partially it may be occupied and partially it may not be occupied. If partially it is occupied and partially it is not occupied, then how much energy does this conduction band electron which is here needs to go to this place? Nothing. 0% means very less energy, because this energy level difference within the same band, energy level difference between the energy required to go from one line to another line will be negligible, because these lines are very close to each other. That's why these are forming a band. Here there is a band, and from here I want to go to this place. This energy required is very less, negligible. So therefore, in room temperature, these electrons can jump to this place also, and they are free to move. They are moving. They are free to move here, right? These are not just attached to their parent atom only. So it is a conductor. When the energy, either, which are conductors, think in this way, where the outermost shell, which is partially filled. If it has outermost shell which is partially filled, then it is a conductor here. Then it is just a conductor only. Is it okay?
Is what the public clouds, and coming to the private clouds is just an edges is the only belongs to the
I don't know who is.
Sir, screen gone, sir.
Screen I have gone because I want to see who is talking in between here. I don't know. There was some noise. Okay, so fine. So okay, fine. So if it is partially filled outermost shell, if it is partially filled outermost shell, then in that case, that will be acting as a conductor only. Okay. Let me see what happens in case of, this is for sodium. Is it for sodium? I think for silicon, if you draw such diagram, then outermost shell will be partially filled or fully filled for silicon. You tell me what is the number for this? 1s, 1s1, 1s2, 2s2,
1s
2p6,
3s2,
3p6, 3s2,
3p2.
3p2.
Yes, sir. 14.
Then these are all occupied, and this one is partially occupied, I think, right?
Yes, sir. Third one partial of 3.
Wait a second. Then why is it not conducting if it is partially occupied? Let me check once what he's saying here. The highest occupied energy band is only partially filled at 0 Kelvin. Sodium is an example of this kind. If the electronic configuration is such that the outermost subshell contains odd number of electrons, we get this type of band structure. Outermost shell must contain odd number of electrons. Then we get this kind of band structure. Okay. But 2p2 is 3p2 is even number. It will not be partially filled. It means. I understood what is the mistake that I was committing. 3p2 means, I think it is not 3p1. It is 3p2. 3p2 means that those two electrons will be of same energy, and after that, the next higher energy, which will be like the third electron, which will be filled, that will be filled in the higher energy orbital. From orbital to orbital, within p also. Within p also, can the energy change or not?
No,
P
sir.
also there are, it
No,
may
They are
change, no?
degenerate
I
orbitals.
think no, sir.
Unz rule, degenerate orbital.
All are degenerate in p and they don't change the energies.
Yes, sir. First
sir.
occupy
sir.
degenerate orbitals, and they will occupy
And again they will pair up.
as a pair up with anti-spin.
No, this degenerate thing is for when they are, when two atoms are forming a bond. Let us say I have a carbon and carbon, two atoms are forming a bond. At that time, those two electrons, which are, then they will have same, what we can say, quantum, all the quantum numbers will come out to be same for two electrons. If we assume them to be degenerate, then they will be degenerate or not? Then they will not be degenerate, I think so. When they come close to each other forming a bond. Will they be degenerate
Yes,
or not?
sir.
I think something
No, sir.
bonding,
Two
anti-bonding.
electrons, two will be degenerate and one will separate, sir.
So it will become bonding and anti-bonding, something like that they will form, and different means the energy levels will be there, no? They will
Sir,
not be
3pz will separate, sir. 3px and 3py will remain degenerate.
right. So main idea is that this will happen. Okay, let us forget those things for the timing. Just one thing that SCV has said directly, let us follow that only. He is saying that if we have, let us remember this thing only. If outermost shell contains odd number of electrons, then we get this kind of band structure in which conduction band is partially filled, or the outermost shell is partially filled. And that outermost shell, what is conduction band? First of all, by definition, let me tell you. You may be confused with this also. Outermost shell, which is completely vacant or partially filled, that is called as conduction band. So either completely vacant one or the partially filled one, but the outermost one means where the outermost, not these ones, we cannot call it conduction band. What should I say? The one which is just after the electrons, in this the electrons are filled up. Just after that, whatever comes, whether it is not completely filled or it is partially filled, both cases it will be called as conduction band. But when it is partially filled, then it is like a conductor only. And when it is not partially filled, when it is completely vacant, at that time we need lot of energy to go from here to here, and that energy the electrons we cannot have in the room temperature. As a result, this becomes like a insulator. If this electron is this energy required, if energy gap is greater than 3 electron volt, then it is insulator, I think so. And if it is less than that, then we call that as semiconductor. But in reality, typically for semiconductors, this energy gap is of the order of 1 electron volt, and for insulators, this energy gap is of the order of 6 electron volts for insulators. Okay. And for conductors, no energy gap because these electrons can go anytime to this place also. They are already in conduction band. No energy gap between the conduction band and the valence band, but the electrons are already occupying the conduction band. That happens for conductors. Okay. Right. Next. Second one. The highest occupied energy level is completely filled at 0 Kelvin, and the next higher level is completely empty when the atoms are well separated. But as the atoms comes closer, these levels split into bands and the bands overlap with each other. Zinc is an example of this kind. So they are saying although the energy levels were separated, but when they come closer, then the bands energy levels will split into bands, and then the bands will start overlapping. Valence band will enter into conduction band. Okay, this happens for zinc. They are giving example. Next is next others are simple cases. You can read this also. Fine. Next we have right. These things you know already. P-type, N-type semiconductors. This is interesting part here now. What happens when we add the impurity? When we add the impurity, phosphorus type we are adding, one extra electron is created here. Now, this impurity has different energy levels, you know or not? Impurity will have its own energy level. Correct or not? And that impurity may not even form a band also. Why it may not form a band? Because they may be well separated from each other. Impurity atoms may be well separated from each other. So they may have just energy level, but they may not have energy band. This is that corresponding impurity energy level. And this energy level may sometimes come out to be in such a way that it may be very close to the conduction band. Then from here to here, if you want to make the electron jump, then the energy required will be very less because this gap is of the order of 0.1 electron volt. And if you find out the energy by kT, then I think what that energy comes out to be, that is still less than 0.1 electron volt. Although that is still less than 0.1 electron volt. If you want to find out, let me tell you, it is of the order of 26 milli. I don't remember exactly again. Wait a second. KT, we can find out, although T is 300 Kelvin, let us say. 300 Kelvin. What is KT? 1.6. What is the formula for K?
1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23.
Minus 23 into T. T is 300 Kelvin. And I want in electron volt. Electron volt means I have to divide by 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. So let us forget other terms. Let us focus only on 0, 0. How many powers are coming here? Power is coming 10 raised to power. Minus 21, minus 19. It is coming out to be minus 4. Minus 2. Minus 2. Minus 2. And this is 0.1 electron volt. Now you may think that the electrons can still not go because it is 10 raised to power minus 2 is still less than 0.1 electron volt. But let me tell you, even when the energy gap was 6 electron volt, some electrons will still acquire energy to go to the higher energy level, even when the gap is 6 electron volt. Even at what temperature? Even at such a less temperature, when the electrons are having on energy, this is the average energy of electron. I think I told you several times also that KT does not give us the energy of each and every atom. This gives us idea of average energy on an average. So actually energy of electrons, if I want to plot energy of electrons, let's say this side it is the number of electrons, this side is the energy of electron. Then energy of electrons will be varying in this way. Some curve will be there. On an average, the energy will come out to be of the order of KT. It is not KT, it is 3/2 KT, but of the order of KT. So, but there will be some electrons which will have much larger than average energy. If average is here, then some electrons are having much larger than average energy. So because some electrons are having much larger than average energy, therefore some electrons will still be able to go up even at room temperature. Even in insulators, some electrons will be able to leave their bond and they will be able to go to the conduction band. That will always happen. But when the energy gap is also becoming much less, then there will be plenty of such which will be able to go to the conduction band. So therefore, we don't have to give KT more than the energy gap. But if it is becoming close to energy gap, then also these electrons can move on to the conduction band. Is it okay? From here, the electrons will go to this side. This happens when we add which kind of impurity we are adding here? Next type or N type or negative type, because it is providing Ne greater than NH. The ones which are greater than the other, we call those as majority carriers. I will use this also when I will write there. Ne we call as majority carrier. Majority means which are in large number as compared to the other. The other one is minority. In N type, electrons are majority carrier, and in N type, the hole is minority carrier. Is it okay? But in P type,
sir.
but in P type, what happens? In P type, the hole is
Opposite.
majority carrier. NH is much larger than Ne, and the hole becomes majority carrier. Hole is majority carrier. There are no free electrons available in the conduction band. Although there are no free electrons available in the conduction band, but through the holes only conduction starts. How? It happens from bond to bond only the electrons start moving. How they are able to move from bond to bond? Because the impurity level, this is having holes here. In impurity, there are holes. And the electrons from the valence band, they are able to jump to the impurity levels. Once they are able to jump to these impurity level holes, then what happens as a result? Here, holes will be created. If holes are created in the valence band, then the conduction can start. So, conduction starts in conduction band with the help of electrons. Here, there should be electrons. But conduction starts in the valence band with the help of holes. Understand this. Conduction starts in the valence band with the help of holes, and conduction starts in the conduction band with the help of electrons. So, in case of N type, the electrons go to the conduction band. But in case of P type, the holes come in the valence band. How the holes come in the valence band? The holes come in the valence band because of holes given by aluminium. Aluminium has one less electron, that is like a hole, and this some silicon electron will come and that will fill up this hole. Then that silicon will have its own hole now. So the hole, when it comes to the silicon, that will be regarded as hole coming in the valence band. The hole, when it comes to the silicon, means when silicon has one less electron available, then we will call it as hole. Okay, is it okay?
Yes.
What I like to say here, there is a lot of difference the way we study mechanics and modern physics and semiconductors. So in semiconductors, if you are understanding somewhat also, that is much more enough. We should not look into much every detail the way we do in mechanics, because mechanics is based on Newton's laws of motion, and we understand everything in the Newton's laws of motion. So we try to go very deep there. But in this case, this is based on quantum physics. So we will never be able to go to that depth because we don't understand quantum physics right now, and you don't know the laws of quantum physics also. So therefore, whatever I'm explaining, this explanation may be approximate explanation, and this may go wrong also in some places, okay, in advanced level. So therefore, we don't have to worry about explanation as much. But yes, we have to keep on learning the things in the process. Okay, so somewhat if you are understanding, that is also good enough in this chapter. Okay. And I will try to make the things although more clear, but still 100% clarity is impossible in this because it is based on quantum physics. Anyway, right, next we have density of, okay, so I think you got this idea that so what happens in impurity based N type or P type? Some impurity levels will be created. Where those are created? In P type, it is created close to valence band, and in N type, it is created close to conduction band. What impurity does? This will have extra electrons present, which will go to conduction bands quickly, easily. And this will have holes. This will have vacancy of electrons, which will make here electrons will come to the valence impurity level. The electrons will go to this side, but as a result, it will create holes in the valence band. Okay. And the conduction will start. Here he is giving this also here. He is telling everything clearly. Here conduction band, here it is valence band. Intrinsic. In case of intrinsic means pure. In pure semiconductor, I think this diagram is not right. This diagram actually, okay, I think
one HV should be there, sir.
Actually, exactly equal. These are exactly equal. In case of intrinsic, these are exactly equal. And in case of N type, this will be more of electrons as compared to holes. Holes are less. And in case of P type, there are more holes and less electrons, right? So holes are majority carriers here. Holes are majority carrier. Electrons are majority carrier. Where the holes carry, they carry in the valence band. Where the electrons carry the current, they carry in the conduction band. Okay, where the electrons are come from, they come from the impurity level IL. Where the valence band hole comes from, they come from the impurity level IL. Which is this impurity level here? It is coming from, I think, boron.
Aluminum.
From boron.
Aluminum.
Or okay, aluminum, boron, same thing. It is coming from trivalent. And where is it coming from? It is coming from pentavalent. Pentavalent, like
phosphorus.
So you understood it. Very good. Very nice. Very nice. You are understanding all these things. This thing I already explained before only. Ne into E into mu plus NH into this thing, you know. And one formula which I did not find here so far, that is also important. Ni square is equal to NH into Ne. I have told you already, but here it is not mentioned. And this data is interesting. You can see silicon doped with phosphorus. 1 part in 10 to the power 6. So out of 10 to the power 6 means 1 million. Out of 1 million, we are giving just 1 part also. But that also will be creating so many conduction electrons, 5 into 10 to the power 22 per meter cube. See, so that is enough. Silicon doped with aluminum. One part in 10 to the power 6. That will be able to create this much. Anyway, next comes our temperature dependence of conductivity. I told already that but this is interesting here. I think I did not give you the formula. Let us see the formula also. It is interesting. So it can be shown that the number of such pairs is proportional to the factor T raised to power 3 by 2 into E raised to power minus delta E by 2K E into T raised to power 3 by 2. We prove it in advanced level, but you no need to prove it for you. You can just remember this if you want, or you no need to remember also probably. But yes, this I think some vague idea you should still be carrying. Okay, somewhat if you are having that idea, that will be good. Delta means E means here. Delta is the band gap, energy gap. Okay, delta E is the energy gap. So, right. Next we have
number of such pairs means which pairs?
Number of such pairs means electron hole pair. No, means bond will be broken. Electron hole pair will be created.
Okay,
When one bond is broken, then one electron will go and it will create a vacancy, and that will make electron hole pair. Okay. We are talking about pure here. This discussion is for pure one, and for pure, for every electron there will be one extra one hole also. Therefore, they are talking about electron hole pair. But in other, in case of doped, it will not be pair. One thing will be more as compared to the other. Okay. PN junction. That means very interesting part is coming now. PN junction. That is wonderful, and more wonderful than PN junction comes our NPN junction. NPN, we don't call it junction. That is called as NPN transistor. Okay. So now diodes and transistors. These things I will explain. I think I should go back to my notebook here. Energy bands I explained there only. Is it okay to now? I don't want to write here again. I think it is enough. You can see there only. Okay. Here I'm not okay. One thing I wanted to tell, and that I skipped somehow. Wait a second. That I should say, but for that I need NCERT. NCERT is not given here. Class 12th. NCERT part 2. Because I am showing from books, sometimes you have to be wise preparing notes. You start writing all these things if you are writing in pen on some notebook. Otherwise, you keep on taking these screenshots of those things. Okay, keep on taking these screenshots. This thing is coming. Yes. Read it. It is very important for you. I'm suggesting you read it completely. I have explained although, but you still need to read it. And here, this is interesting here. this is the spacing between atoms when the atoms are far away from each other, so that the force of electrostatic force of electromagnetic force of one atom on the other atom is not much. In that case, they will have separate energy levels. All will have same energy levels, but because they are not interacting with each other, when they are not interacting, one is here, other is here, then they can have same energy level. But when they start interacting with each other, then according to Pauli's exclusion principle, they will start getting split into several energy levels. So as the energy gap is reducing, then these energy bands are created. And notice, the energy band start overlapping. The one which comes from higher energy level, that may some level of those, some electrons of higher energy level may have lesser energy as compared to some electrons of lower energy level. They will acquire larger energy because of this splitting of energy levels. So these two end states from L equal to 0, some electron from L equal to 0 may have more energy as compared to some electron from L equal to 1. That may happen in such cases when the gap becomes less. That may happen, right? So what is region C here? I think region C, I don't know what is it. But region D is this region is actual spacing. Actual spacing is here. This is the actual spacing. Okay, these are assumed spacing, that if we have such and such spacing, if they are far away from each other, then what happens? But in the solid actual spacing is like this. So in the solid, this energy gap will be from here to here. This will be the energy gap Eg. Okay. 4n states, 4n electrons, and 4n states, 0 electrons will be there in the higher energy level. And as there is 0 energy electrons there, so total energy we need to give from here to jump from here to here will be much larger. That much we don't have in room temperature. That happens in pure silicon. Now, and see one more thing here, interesting thing. Observe the lower energy levels. These you observe. N-1th shell. In that shell, these are still not turning into bands in our normal spacing also. Reason? Probably when the atoms come close to each other, then the outermost electrons still interact with each other. But the inner electrons they are still not able to interact with each other. They are still having their separation is still large enough so that they don't interact. And if they don't interact, then they can have same energy levels. But if the energy gap, if the gap decreases, for example, we may compress the material very much. If we do that, then energy gap will decrease, and then the lower energy levels may also start splitting. They also will start forming bands here. Is it clear? Okay. One more thing, why I'm interested in this, because there is one question which was once asked in IIT or IEEE related to this. It was there that if what was it? If the energy gap decreases, if the spacing decreases, then what happens? Then energy gap is increasing or not? In our present case, the case which we are discussing for silicon, it is diagram for silicon. For silicon, if the spacing is decreasing, means we are compressing the silicon material, then energy gap will further increase. You can see it here. In this, energy gap increases for that moment. If we compress it even more, then energy gap may again decrease. But by slight compression, energy gap will increase. It will increase, and if it increases, then it will become more difficult even for the electrons to jump to the higher state. Then conduction may decrease, conductivity may decrease by compressing the silicon material. Okay, so fine. I will when that question will come again, I will discuss about that. Maybe I will. It is related to something called as the lattice constant. And I think lattice constant is related to the spacing. When the spacing is more, I think lattice constant is more. I don't remember exactly. When that question will come, I will discuss it. And this you can read yourself also. H.C. Verma and NCRT. Both these books are important for all these chapters. Let us come back to 12th class. Modern physics. Now, an I square is directly proportional to t raised to the power 3 by 2 into e raised to the power minus delta e divided by kt. This I'm writing. Maybe it was 2 kt here. Are you sure?
Sir, 2 kg.
Yes, sir.
2 kg only, sir.
Okay, right. Next we have, okay, because I squared, then it will be t cube, huh? No, but
No, T for 3 by 2 only, sir.
Nine.
that only. It is pairs, right? It
Yes,
is
sir,
pair.
N square.
It is pair of electron hole. That is proportional to this. It is, I think, Ni. It may not be Ni square. It may be Ni, I think.
Pair, no.
So pair means one pair, one electron, one hole. One electron, one hole. How many pairs are there? 2 pairs.
2
4.
pairs.
But what is Ni square? Ni square will be 4, but pairs are 2. Ni square is not same as pair. Ni means pair.
Yes, sir.
And Ni means pair, right? So it will be Ni only. Okay. Next we have diodes. Very important. Very interesting also. So before I discuss diodes, I will normally ask you to tell me something here. Here I have hydrogen, or maybe any, okay, here it is argon. I am taking such gases so that it cannot react with hydrogen. No other purpose is there. This hydrogen gas, there's a small hole in between these two chambers. I will remove that window. There was a window in that, and that was closed, and I will just remove the plug, and the gases will start flowing into each other. Question is, in which direction hydrogen will flow?
In
Left
all
to right.
directions, sir. But
Left
not
to
left to right.
Net flow of hydrogen will be from left to right. And net flow of argon will be from
Right to left.
But although the truth is that both are moving in both directions, but reality is that because there is more concentration of hydrogen in one side as compared to the other side, therefore hydrogen will tend to move from high concentration region to low concentration region. And argon will also tend to move from its high concentration region to its low concentration region. Right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there any force which is doing that? No force is there. There is no such force, but it is just because of probability, we can say. Probability of going in which direction will be more. And that is very interesting. This probability is really wonderful thing. Because of that, what happens? Let us change it now. And let us keep it as hydrogen ion, maybe positive ion. And here it is argon again. And if I ask you again, then in which direction this hydrogen positive will go? Again, same thing only. It will go in that direction, right?
Yes.
So because it is going in this direction, there is a net current flowing. Without application of external electric field, there is no external electric field, but then also current is flowing. It means from high concentration to low concentration, there can be current. If I have one region carrying large number of electrons and less number of holes, and other region carrying large number of holes and less number of electrons, then what will be tendency of electrons to move? This is not a window now. It is just a material which is joined together. Which material is joined? N-type is joined with P-type. It is NP junction. We call this junction where they are joined together, we call it as NP junction. It was N-type, it was P-type, we joined them together. Then after joining, what happens? These electrons will have tendency to go to that side and holes will have tendency to go to this side. And when that happens, when the electrons go to one side and the holes come to the other side, then as a result, will it keep on happening indefinitely or will it stop after some time?
It will keep on happening indefinitely, sir.
In case of, wait a second, in case of hydrogen and argon, it will keep on happening up to the time when the concentration of hydrogen in both chambers will be equal and concentration of argon in both chambers will be equal. But in this case, up to what time it will happen? Will it happen up to the time when the electrons concentration in both chambers will be equal? These are not chambers, by the way. Now these are not chambers. These are just materials, N-type material, P-type material. So up to what time it will happen? Now you tell. Think about it.
Indefinite time, sir. But after
indefinite time.
After some time, it will. After a long time, it will become net will become 0, sir.
Net current will become 0. In which direction the current is flowing? From electron to holes, it will be negative current. So hole to electron, it will be positive. Means P to N-type, the current will be flowing, right? And as a result, how these electrons will come to this side? How will these holes come to this side? When this hole comes from here and it joins with this electron, then what happens? Or when this electron comes here and it joins with this hole, then what happens? Tell me what happens when this joins with this hole.
Holes are closed and electron is gone into the atom.
Yes, holes are closed and the electron is gone. Means no electron. This electron will also make this hole vacant. This gone. This then gradually we are noticing this will be going. Then in between there will be no charge carriers. In between, in the junction, there will be no charge carriers. This junction region has junction region will become devoid of charge carriers. Neither electron will be there nor hole will be there. Occasionally some electron hole pair will be created because of the temperature also. And then as soon as electron is created, as soon as hole is created, which side the electron will go and which side the hole will go? If electron hole pair is created, which side they will go?
Hole will go to the left side, electron will go to the right side.
Hole will go to the left side and electron will go to the electron will go to the right side and hole will go to the left side. Let me think. Is it right or wrong? What happens now when electrons go to the right hand side? Then here there will be positive charge created. Is it true or not? Because initially material, N-type material is neutral. P-type material is also neutral. These are neutral only. These are neutral or not? N and P-type both are neutral. Because both are neutral, so as the electrons are going from neutral away, then it will become positively charged. And as the electrons are coming to the P-type, then P-type will become negatively charged. No? So P-type will become negatively charged and N-type will become positively charged. Initially, these were neutral. Okay. Then as the electron and hole pair is created here, which side the electron will go? Now you think again. Which side will it go?
It will go towards the left.
Yes. Before you said something wrong, huh? It will go to the left now because the field, field is created in this direction. If field is created in this direction, then the electron will go opposite to the direction of field. It will go to the left. Correct. If it goes to the left side, then what happens? Then this width of the depletion region will decrease slightly. As some electrons will start coming to the side, it will decrease. So this width will keep on decreasing as the electron pair, hole pair are generating. But as the width decreases, then what happens? As the width decreases, then electrons from this side will be able to cross this barrier. Oh, sorry. The electrons can come from this side to that side. If the potential barrier, this is like a potential barrier for them. Barrier means, what do you mean by barrier? Means what
Obstacle.
energy the electron should have in order to go across it. The electron should have energy more than EV. Then only electron will be able to go cross it. Otherwise, it cannot cross it. So this will be a barrier created in the path of electrons. So electrons cannot go to the holes. They want to go. Why do they want to go? Why do they want to go? Because of general tendency. General tendency is a body to go from high density to low density side. So because of its general tendency to go from high density region to low density region, the electrons have tendency to go from this N type to P type because of high density to low density they want to go. But will they keep on going always? No, they will stop after some time. Why they stop after some time? The reason is the field is created, which is making them stop. So it does not mean that the electrons are still not going. Some electrons will have energy, they will tend to go that side. But as they are going, some will lose their energy in between and they will return back. But some electrons will have still sufficient energy and they will be able to go. If they are still able to go there, then this width will increase because of that. Why it will increase? Because every time one electron is going there, then that will be occupying some hole there. And if it is occupying some hole, then that will be making the width, this junction region wider. If this hole is also occupied here, if this hole is also occupied, then this junction will come up to this. If this hole is occupied, then junction will come up to this. And this here, there will be again, this width will become more. So as the electrons go from here to here, the width of the junction increases. But also because of the temperature, some electron hole pair will get broken down and some electrons will come back to this side. As a result, what happened here? Then again, this is like a kind of equilibrium. Means the width is not permanent. It slightly increases and decreases, but almost it is nearly constant width. It increases and decreases by a very tiny fraction. If this width is, let us say, a few micrometers, then it may be increasing and decreasing up to the order of, you can think, femtometer or something. Means the increase and decrease is less. So nearly this width is constant. So we can say this width nearly remains constant. It is a kind of equilibrium. Can the electron come here only because of this side, only because of electron hole pair generation? No. Electron can come here also because of these electrons here. Some electrons from this side, these are minority carriers. But these electrons may also come sometimes here and they also may get swept away to the other side. As soon as one electron here comes to this side, that will not now, this electron will not stop here if it comes here. It will be swept away completely to the other side. So some electrons will come to this side also because of minority carriers here. But the electrons will go to that side because of the majority carriers here. So one current is majority current, majority carrier current, and the other current is the minority carrier current. The majority carrier current is called as diffusion current here. Why it is called as diffusion current? Because it is from high concentration of electrons to low concentration of electrons. But the minority carrier current is called as drift current. Drift current because it is same phenomena as it happens in conductors, drift velocity, because of the application of field. So when the field will be created, due to the drift velocity acquired by the electrons inside the field, these electrons will have tendency to go to the other side, opposite to the direction of field. So two kinds of current will flow, drift current and diffusion current. And in equilibrium, these two currents will be equal. So the width of the depletion region will remain constant, which will tend to increase the width of the depletion region. The diffusion, if diffusion current is that side, if they are going to that side, then they will tend to increase the width of the depletion region. Okay, they will tend to increase the width of the depletion region. And the drift current will tend to decrease the width of the depletion region. But in equilibrium, both of these will become equal. So how many currents are there in this case? Two currents. And why we are treating these two currents as separate currents? What is that? Why the reason is that why we want to treat these separately? I diffusion and I drift. Why don't we just call it as a single current only? The reason is diffusion current is not because of field. So it has different formula. Derivation is completely different for diffusion current. I cannot apply formula for this like I is equal to NEA into drift velocity. Not applicable for the diffusion current. So it has completely different way to derive. Although at last, after derivation, after doing all the things, finally it still comes out to be beautifully just sigma into E, and that still comes out to be N into E into mu into E. But this mu is some complex factor which involves so many things like temperature, etc., and how many concentration is there, doping concentration is there. It depends on so many things. Okay, but we are not worried about those complications. For us, it is enough to understand for the time being that there are drift currents and diffusion currents. Diffusion currents is because of majority carriers, and drift current is because of minority carriers. Which are minority carriers? Depends on which we are talking about. In N-type, minority carriers are holes. In P-type, minority carriers are electrons. Okay. So how many total currents we can have? In drift also there are two kinds again. In drift also there will be two kinds. One is because of electrons, one is because of hole. In majority also there will be two kinds, electron and hole. Okay. So there are four kinds of current. Drift current because of electrons, drift current because of holes, diffusion current because of what is that? Diffusion current because of the electrons and diffusion current because of holes. So there are four kinds of currents flowing here. Mostly we will just be worried about these two only, diffusion and drift, and that is enough for us because these both drift currents are because of electric field and both diffusion currents are because of concentration difference. Diffusion current flows because of from high concentration to high concentration to low concentration region. These flow from high concentration to low concentration, and these are just because of the electric field. Because of electric field. Who is applying that electric field? Nobody is applying. It is created in the junction itself automatically. But we will apply also soon because after some time we will try to see how it behaves, how the PN junction behaves. This we call as NP junction or PN junction. How it behaves when external electric field is applied. That also we will see. But for the time being, without applying anything also, its own electric field is created at the junction. And one more, some terms are there which you should be knowing. Depletion region. Depletion. Spelling I don't remember. DEPLETE. I think LE. Deplete. LE or LI? LE I think. No? Depletion region. Depletion region is nothing but where the charge carriers will be not there in this region. That region is called as depletion region. Why it is called as depletion region? I think deplete word, you search it in Google. Deplete word has meaning of something getting finished, which is finished, which is decreasing. So what is finished in between? In between the charge carriers are finished. So because there are no charge carriers in between, so we call it as divide of charge carriers or depletion region. We call it. It is called as depletion region, or we also call it as potential barrier region. Okay. Depletion region, or in this depletion region, what happens? This is this already told you, divide of charge carriers, and there is a potential barrier. There is a potential barrier. Potential barrier for what? For the electrons to go from which to which side? This potential barrier is for the electrons to go from high concentration to low concentration, but it is not barrier for the electrons to come from low concentration to high concentration. They will try to easily come from low to high because of this, but it is barrier for electrons to go from N to P side. It is a potential barrier in the path of
N to
motion of majority carriers. It is not a barrier for the minority carriers. It is barrier only for the majority carriers. In the path of just wait a second, I think so much in the path. Just this is enough. This is a product of for majority carriers. Only for majority carriers, right? It is not for minority carriers. For minority carriers, it is a favorable potential, in fact. But we normally call it as potential barrier only, even though it is not a minority carriers. For minority carriers, it is favoring, right? But we are not interested in minority carrier current. Minority carrier current is always very small as compared to majority carrier current, and I think you can understand. Lesser number of particles will be there, lesser charge carriers will be there, then lesser current will be there. But majority carriers are so many, so maybe a million. I don't know how many times larger. I think millions of times larger than the minority carriers. As a result, the main current will be constituting of the majority carriers. So nobody is interested in minority carriers. That is exactly well. Okay.
Sir, time.
Time is up. Then tomorrow we continue again. What is there for this week? Say it again. Other than semiconductors.
Communication also.
That
Logic
is wonderful, really. They have really, oh my God, what they are doing. Everything for this week only.
Logic gate.
Logic gates also, this also. Okay, no problem. I will cover it. It is not a difficult task for me. I will cover it. Don't worry about that. But I hope you try to learn in the class itself. Try to learn the things here only. Okay. And what you will do today? Today, I recommend you to read SCV and NCERT theory. Theory only. Don't even worry about single problem also. This is theoretical chapter. You just read the theory properly. Few numericals will be there. When those numericals will come, I will explain myself only. But for you, you just read theory. What?
Communication system next week, sir.
Who told it this week only? Then it is okay. Then not that much also.
Really, sir. Chandan.
Chandan, you told it is this week only?
Yes, sir. I thought this week only.
Then it is not that big syllabus also. Then don't worry. Okay. Then it can be done easily. So you just keep reading theory. And in this, theory is more important. So you just read theory and numerical. And that explains. Okay. Then.